Get those boogies and that vodka.
Yeah, yeah. Shot.
That's how we could start with like a toast.
It's National Champagne Day.
Is
So
it
there,
really?
yes.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome to the Go Headquarters podcast. It is National Champagne Day. We are not celebrating.
Oh,
Well, I'm not. You can.
yeah. I'll cheers for you, Brandon. How about that?
And if anyone hears this podcast, it's too late for Champagne Day, so you'll be celebrating after the holiday is over. Anyway, moving on.
It's okay. There's always something to celebrate. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Welcome to the Go Headquarters podcast. This is our first ever episode coming at you from Go Headquarters. I'm here with my fellow coach, Amy Bailey. And today we are going to be talking about some hot topics and mostly talking about client issues, really. So we've got a few things to chat about and how it is that we deal with some of these client issues and what we would maybe expect from some of our members in our day-to-day working life at Go Headquarters and maybe some of our online coaching clients and some of those differences. So, Amy, how are you doing today?
Amazing. It's a great, wonderful, beautiful day. So life is good.
Yeah, we had a great day at Go Headquarters. Doors were open, didn't have the AC on. It was so nice out. Had people outside doing the sled push and all that good stuff. So it was a fun day, taking advantage of the weather for sure.
Everyone loves a good sled push. I'm sure everyone will agree with me on that one.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so one of the topics I wanted to get into with you, just kind of open format, not so much a question, but more of just open dialogue on when you are working with a member, whether it's one-on-one or maybe in like a group fit camp type setting, one of the big group classes, and there can always be that bad apple type of scenario. Mm-hmm. So in a group setting, let's go with that first instead of a one-on-one client. So in a group setting, let's say you're dealing with like 8 or 10 people in a group, and there's that one person that has certain tendencies, either to be late or leave early or consistently not pay attention. It could range from anything, right? Bad attitude, just not putting the hustle forth during the exercises, that sort of stuff. What are some of the ways that you maybe would handle that and some of the things that you have seen or do see frequently?
Yeah, so I do have to deal with both of the scenarios you gave me. So one of my personal trainer / coach pet peeves is definitely timeliness. By no means do I expect people to be at the gym like 20 minutes early. Unless you want to and stretch and all that, that's great. But try to get in the door 5 minutes early, set your stuff down, talk to your neighbor if that's what you're going to do, get it all out of the way, and then don't leave till the end of class. I mean, I think it's very rude, and I think it kind of disrupts the class because people are like, why is so-and-so leaving? So the way I guess I've handled it when it has happened is first I just kind of lightly talk to the person about it, hey, what's going on? Why are you always late? And, maybe we'll be like, I'll say something to the effect of, hey, I would really appreciate it if you could stay till the end of class. The second we're done, you're welcome to leave. But if it continues, then some more, I guess, a harsher, more serious conversation has to happen. And I hate conflict, so as you can see, just talking about it, I start sweating.
We can't tell on camera, so you're all right.
I'm sweating because I don't like having that conversation. But, one person should not be distracting the whole group from their time and workout at the gym. A lot of people they save up and work really hard to pay for that workout and our attention, and that's what they come for. So if I'm constantly, or you're constantly, or any of the coaches have to take our attention away from that and address the situation that this one person is causing, it does disrupt everything. And that goes not just for lateness or leaving early, but if you're just always distracting everybody, talking out of turn, complaining. It can be a number of things. Just off like doing your own thing. I don't know. I mean, there's a ton of things you can do that just kind of ruins the vibe of the class atmosphere and the workout flow, I think. So.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it can set, I feel like as a coach, it can set you up for just being that much shorter with anyone you're working with in the group at the time. You know, as far as your patience tolerance and things like that within that moment, within that group, because that person just sets you up for that like routine every time. It's like dealing with a group of children, you know, teaching school or something. There's that kid that like is always taking the teacher away, and it's the same, except we're all adults. So it's that much more ridiculous to have to deal with that kind of behavior. Yeah, tricky situation for sure.
And because we're all adults, it kind of makes me less compassionate. Like when you give me excuses, I don't, unless it's something crazy extreme, I don't really have a lot of empathy necessarily or sympathy. Because, you know, I'm an athlete at Go too, and you're my coach actually. So out of respect for you, I would never just, never just kind of like, I don't know, come in and do whatever I want and leave whenever I want, and I don't know. It's just, for me, it's a respect thing. Like, have respect for the person coaching your class or group or training session.
Yeah, definitely. So there's the famous quote, right? Attitude reflects leadership. I'd like to dive into that a little bit in this context. I don't have children, of course, but I relate this to like parenting and childhood in a way, because yes, attitude I think may reflect leadership, but there can always be a bad apple in the bunch. Coaches through the history of coaching and parenting through the history of parenting have let go of their children or, you know, whatever, and any of their students in any capacity for that reason. Sometimes you just feel like you have given it your absolute everything and it's just not adapting. And, you know, so how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you have absolute control over someone's attitude or behavior in just a coaching athlete relationship? Mark, what are you getting? Cheese?
What if he just got like a big thing of like French fries out of the, I don't know why we'd have it in our fridge.
Or he pulls out like a 3-foot long sub.
Yeah, well, again, I think it goes back to the fact that, again, we're all adults. So it's, you know, I try to have the attitude, I'm there to coach whoever shows up to be coached. And I want to give you a good workout. I want you to get as much out of it as possible. So if you come there to just kind of putz around and you're kind of lackadaisical about the whole thing, it's my feeling, as long as, like, I don't want people to take away from the group experience, but again, I can't make you come in and work out and, I don't know, sweat and breathe really hard. I mean, that's what I want, but the same way, geez, sorry, this is going to get into a really deep topic. The same way you want someone to like quit an addiction, you can want it all you want for them, but until they want it for themselves, it's not ever going to happen. So it's almost kind of like, that's taking it to a whole nother level, but
no, but it's on this. I think it's on the same psychological, you know, wavelength in a sense that like we can't want it for them.
Right.
And I think in our role, it's hard to know that, hey, look, someone's paying a certain amount to come in for services. You know, they're kind of going through the motions, but you can tell that they just don't want it. They're doing like that bare minimum requirement to go home and maybe not feel guilty that they didn't do anything that day, or to be able to say, yes, I work out 2 days a week, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, they're not going that extra mile. And I don't think that as coaches we can, like, there's motivation, but then there's like that intrinsic motivation that someone either does or does not have. And that's something that we can't have. We're that little extrinsic motivation amount. And I think that only has so much room to really get into somebody's lifestyle and behavior change and attitude towards fitness. Some people make complete 180-degree turns from when they come in the door, and they truly get turned around. Others just kind of meander through the process, and those are the hard ones, the ones that just meander and don't ever like catch fire on it.
And I don't know about you, but like I have had to learn not to take those cases personally almost. Because I do care about everybody I coach, very much so. And so when I care more than you do about your life and what you're doing, it's not good. So I've had to learn how to kind of separate myself and be like, hey, you're going to do your thing and get what you want out of it. And I'm just here to give you a good workout. So that's hard. That's actually been a really big learning experience for me through this job. So
Yeah. Yeah. You get more connected than you ever think you're going to about somebody's like fitness.
yeah.
It's like when you think about life and how big or small things maybe are in the world, and depending on your beliefs and whatever, like in the grand scheme of things, it's like we're highly concerned with how fit people are. And so it seems ridiculous at times, but like we get pretty wrapped up in it as coaches, and like we want to see people like get really fit, feel really healthy, feel really, really good, and just have that positive, radiant energy about them through their fitness journey. So it's hard to see that not develop because somebody's just kind of a bummer some of the time.
That's such a nice way of putting it. You're a bummer.
Sorry, that was a stretch.
That's
Pun
funny.
intended. Anyway, moving forward. Okay, so typically these are going to be probably the same people that we're really having this conversation about. Deal with the personality types that they come in, they feel good. You're like, how's everything feeling? And they're like, fine. And you start going through the workout, through the warm up, everything feels great. The shoulders, the knees, the back, maybe they have usual ailments, but all those things on this day are feeling fine. And we're doing a proper warm up and mobility session, what have you. And then all of a sudden we kind of get into the thick of it in terms of intensity. And now all of a sudden everything hurts, right? Where it's just kind of always something. It's like, ooh, I feel my knee. And it's like, I don't know. You don't see an acute moment on that. Like they didn't have any sort of fault in their positioning or technique. Nothing was crazy heavy or overly fast, or they didn't overextend their range of motion. And you just know, like inherently that, look, it's getting tough, and now you're chasing that excuse. What are your thoughts on that? Do you see that? How frequently? What are some of the
Do I see this?
paths you take?
Yes. How often? Every day of my life. And I call BS on it all. And people are going to hate to hear me say that. But I know who has sore stuff and problems. And I get sore. I have injuries. I get it. But there comes a point where you just have to push through. You're gonna sweat a little bit in your workout. Your heart rate's gonna elevate, and you're gonna breathe hard, and it might be a little hard for you to get in those last 4 pull-ups or those last 100 meters on the rower. I get it. It's supposed to be hard. So I get on a soapbox about this because it is so frustrating to me. Because I would never push someone to do something way beyond what they're capable of. So I know that the people that do this, my repeat offenders, I know that they can do this. So it is just so frustrating, and it takes so much energy out of me as the coach to keep saying, you can do this. Come on, you can do this. Let's stretch for a second, then get back on it or to it or whatever, and let's do it. It's so draining, and it takes 10 times longer than if you just kind of push through it and got it out of the way, and then we could move on to something else that you'd probably complain about.
Yeah, there's just this eternal fine line that we're always riding on, safety number one, right? So if someone's legitimately hurting, of course we're going to shut it down
Right.
and make modifications to keep them safe. So we're always doing that, and people know that, and I think leverage against us using that, thinking like, oh, if I say that my shoulder hurts, well, I know I'm going to get out of this right now.
Right.
or whatever it is, like, and that drives me absolutely crazy. And oh man, like, yeah, I call BS on it the majority of the time because those people are repeat offenders for sure. Yeah, that's a hard one for me to deal with, like on the fly, because I don't have a tolerance for it. Like, I'm not wired that way mentally. And so I don't know. There are certain people that I think I have gotten to the point with that I'm like, okay, fine, we'll stop. Let's go do a foam roller and like almost shut the workout down, because it's like I don't even want to go into this battle with you, because it becomes a challenge match on the psyche and the mentality of like, hey, look, I genuinely don't think you're hurting right now. I think you're using that as a quick excuse. And then they get all offended, and then it's like whatever. And so then, integrity is in question at that point. And yeah, that's tough. Slippery slope that we're always dealing with.
I do try, especially if it's someone who does try to talk me out of doing things or stuff they don't like multiple times or maybe every time they see me. I try to have that conversation with them about being mentally tough and, just saying, okay, you can almost always do 5 more than you think you can. If you just tell yourself and don't let yourself give up. I really try to have that conversation with people. And, sometimes it does actually kind of go a long way, because just them realizing that I'm not going to always give in to their whims just kind of shuts it down, which is great. And then you just have some people who just refuse to be tough. And it's like you said, well, what else are we supposed to do? If you're not going to do our workout, okay, you can foam roll,
Yeah, yeah. And you're always looking for those breakthrough moments too, where like you can tell that they're having that moment in their mind that they're ready to like shut it down and kind of pull that wild card of whatever, that they're just ready to quit on you. And whatever it is that day kind of clicks, they keep going a little bit, and then you really like lock that down in the memory bank for them. And obviously lots of positive reinforcement and stuff at that point, that they broke through and can do a little more than they think. And hopefully that stays with them the next time.
We hope.
Yeah, right. Fingers crossed all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that covers some of the topics I wanted to get into. Is there anything on the top of your head that comes to mind as far as like trainer client issues that, and we can go positive side too, like obviously we've got the other side of the fence with the extremely dedicated people that we could get into as well. But is there anything particular that comes to mind that you'd like to get into right now?
Negative or positive?
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
What comes to mind?
No, I can't stress enough how much a positive attitude, despite your ability, you might not be able to hardly do more than walk around the gym, but if you have a willingness to try and you come in and let's say you're there for an hour, and that for that hour you're going to do the best you possibly can, that goes so far. Oh, sorry. Almost knocked the microphone into the computer. In my book, that goes so far. I am on cloud 9 after working with folks that have that mentality. And I don't know, that on a positive note, again, your ability doesn't matter to me as long as you're not constantly saying, well, I don't like doing that, or I can't do that, or just saying, oh wow, okay, let's do it. Awesome, let's do it. So on a positive side, that's something I appreciate, and a lot of people have that in them too. So you're very quiet on that one.
No, I'm totally with you on that. I would take like effort, like honest effort, and that positive, willing attitude all day over someone that like maybe has the highest performance numbers and abilities or whatever. Because like really the hardest things I think we deal with as coaches isn't getting people to improve their performance. Like that is going to come with the training and time. But like the thing we don't have control over is the willingness and the attitude that we've already discussed. So like if someone's just trying their hardest all the time and they really give it that honest effort, like that is always someone that is refreshing to work with for sure. Those are the people that are going to be on time even if they're having little ailments and stuff, hopefully they're going to communicate that with you, but they're going to try to even push through or around those ailments, like regardless of a little bit of discomfort here or there, recognizing that, hey, this is something they need to do. And so that is like really refreshing. And it's almost, yeah, it's almost the minority, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah. And we all have bad days and days we don't want to train or go on a 400-meter run or whatever it is. And I get that, but it can't be every single time you're at the gym. So that's,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
yeah, that's what
Well,
I got.
we're gonna, as a goal here for these podcasts, not that I said anything about it in the intro, but we're just trying to keep these like short and sweet, cover one or two topics at a time. Sometimes they'll just be, topics like today's were, as far as client trainer relationships, coaching life, whether that's good or bad any given week. And sometimes these will be a little more on the educational side, as far as whatever, nutrition, exercise, training, programming, etc. Sometimes we'll get into talking about guinea pigs and Great Danes or what have you.
Yes, those
Amy's
are my
specialty.
favorite.
And yeah, that's about it. So thank you very much for joining me today, Amy. I appreciate your time and insight. And I guess until next time, Go Headquarters signing out.